Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic for today's second blog. Now, the great news is we have launched our Kickstarter campaign, so do check out the URL on just below the video in the description field. And please commit your money to that so that we can definitely commit to creating this book, which we'd love to do. Now, that is in current news. Also, obviously, on Patreon we have Scott Strossal's Pirate Puzzle Hunt, which is awesome. And now, moving on to today's puzzle. This is a little late. Sajjad Haydari sent this to us in advance, slightly, of our reaching 256,000 subscribers. And that was kind of what he pinned it to, because it's a Power of 2 puzzle. This is the key selling point here. In fact, subscribers have been going brilliantly since then, so maybe it was an omen somehow. But what's going on here is there are a few things. We have a king's move restriction, so that numbers that touch, or cells that touch each other diagonally, i.e. a king's move apart, cannot contain the same digit. We have a couple of sandwich clues, just 2 of them, which show the sum of the digits between the 1 and the 9 in that row or column. And also, as well, you'll obviously notice that those sandwich clues, the numbers in the grid, the givens, they're all powers of 2 rather brilliantly. 128, 256, 1632, 64, lots of 8s and 4s and a 2. Now, for each row of the grid, that power of 2 appears in order. Now, what that means is fairly trivial for the first 3 rows. In row 1, 2 to the 1 is 2. In row 2, 2 to the 2 is 4. In row 3, 2 to the 3 is 8. But then we get up to 16, and what has to happen in this row is that 1 has to appear before 6. In this row, 3 has to appear before 2, because the 5th power of 2 is 34. In this row, 6 has to appear before 4, and we can see it already does that, which is handy. In this row, it gets more exciting, I think, in the last 3 rows, where 1, 2, 8 all have to appear in order, 2, 5, 6, and 5, 1, 2, and the same applies to the columns. So in this column, it has to be 6 before 4 for 64, for instance. 1, 2, 8 have to appear in order there. 2, 5, 6, 5, 1, 2. I suppose, 16 and 32 in those. So that's an unusual rule set. We're really focusing on the powers of 2 for this puzzle. And it's going to be interesting to try and not forget to achieve that whilst also remembering king's move restriction, which is easy to forget in my experience. So do have a go on the link below the video. It'll actually be below the Kickstarter link this time. And I'm going to give it a go now. So let's get cracking, see what we can do. Well, there's a nice bit of regular Sudoku to start with. 2s in columns 2 and 3 mean I can put a 2 into column 1 there, the only cell available. I suspect I'm going to run out of regular Sudoku almost immediately. I suppose there's a couple of pencil marks that can be made, but it's really not a lot here because there's not a lot that's available from just those regular bits. Actually, no, let's remember the king's move. Those 8s work very well together. They're ruling out all of those cells, and the king's move's ruling out that one. So we can actually fill in 8 in column 3, which restricts 8 to those cells in box 5. Actually, 8's restricted to those as well. It's reasonably interesting. But I think we're going to have to do something with... Let's have a look at the sandwich clues. 16, right. Well, 1 and 9, one has to be on one end of this sum and the other has to be on the other end. You clearly can't squeeze them into one end of this column. So 2, 5 and 6 are in the sum. That's the point. They add up to 13, so there's another 3 to go, and then 1 and 9. Now, what is this column in terms of the powers of 2? 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Perfect. So the 3 has to come before the 2, so we know exactly that it's there. And those four numbers that add up to 16 are bounded by the 1 and 9. So 4 in the column now must be at the top. This is 8 and 7. We can place those thanks to this 8. And we've got a real start now. So that was a very useful clue. Now 32 here, that is normally a very useful sandwich clue. It means that a 3 has to be outside the 1 and 9 and is the only digit. That could be here or here. So 1 and 9 can't be in those cells. I'm not going to colour the whole grid. I'm just going to use that because we've only got 2 sandwich clues. That wouldn't really be worth it. Now, despite that 32, that's not the clue for this row. Oh, 16 is the power for this row, isn't it? 2, 4, 8, 16. Right. Oh, that's great, actually. Since we know 6 is in one of those cells, the 1 has to come before it. It has to be in one of those 2. That one is telling us which one. I can fill in the 1 there. 6 is in one of those. So there's a 1 down here somewhere. Now that means this row is 32. Oh no, hang on, the 1 there, that's really helpful because that's one of the sandwiches. Perfect, so 9 can go in there and 3 there. Let's get rid of the shading because we have used up the sandwich clues already. It doesn't really matter what the order of these numbers is, they're going to add up to 32. That's what 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 add up to. So, this row was the 16 row. Okay, so we've fixed that already. That's been dealt with. This row is the 32 row. So 3 has to come before 2. This row is the 64 row where it's already been done. This is 128. Now 8's over in one of these 2 cells now, but that is obviously handily late. 2 could be in any of those. I'm not going to pencil mark those because they kind of overlap boxes. This row is 2, this row is 2, 5, 6. That's not very helpful at the moment. This row is 5, 1, 2. Also not very helpful. Okay, these first 3 columns don't really do anything in this rule set. Now, this column does, however. It's 16, 1 and then 6. Now clearly the 6 can be in one of those 2 cells. I suppose it could be here with the 1 here, which would put 9, 8. Can't see anything wrong with that. Right, 32 here, 64 here. That is actually already dealt with, although I have no idea where the 6 goes. The fact the 4's at the end means we must fulfill the constraint. Now in this one, 1, 2, 8, actually that is interesting because the 8 can't be here or here. So 8 is either there or there. That can't be 1 or 2. So 2 is above this cell and it can't be here. So I think 2 has to be here. 1 has to be here. And that's really helpful. Right, now in this column we're looking at 2, 5, 6, and now that 2 can't be in any of those or there, it's in one of those 2 cells with 5 below it, 6 below that. I can't resolve those. Or can I? If 2 was here, then by, oh, that's rather beautiful. If 2 was here, by the power of 2 rule, 2 would have to be here to allow 2, 5, 6 to fit in. But that would break the king constraint. So 2 is actually here. That can't be 2 anymore. Doesn't help with the 5 and the 6, but never mind. Now, 5, 1, 2 in this column. Well, clearly the 2 Actually, it can't be there by the king's move or there. So 2 is here in the corner where it is most helpful to both rows, sadly. Now 1 could be anywhere here. 5 could, no, it can't be here because one of those is a 5. But it could still be in any of those cells. Right, 6 is down here, so 6 is locked up here. Not relevant for the powers thing. Ah, that 1, that's fixed the 9 and 1. Sorry, this is the sort of puzzle where it's going to be very hard for anybody to pick up everything that appears by scanning, especially with the king's constraint. Like, look at this, for instance. That 1 now is ruled out of those cells. So 1 goes in one of these, and with that 1, that means 1 is here. That with that 1 means 1 is down here, forming a pair with the 6. So we can now fill in the 5 and indeed the 4. Let's get rid of the other pencil marks. We've got a 1-6 pair. Is this 8? Yeah, that's final now. That's fixed. That gives us 8 here. Let's take out those pencil marks. 8 still can be in one of those 2. Yes, I can't see how to resolve those final 8s. 5 and 7, yes, they are resolved by the 5 in the center of the grid. So they're done. 1, 2, 5, 9, 3. 6, 4, 8, and 7 to go in here. I can't see much beyond the pencil marks we've already done. So never mind about that. Now, this row 32, yes, we've sorted that out. Ah, this row 128 is the number, so it's clearly going in these 3 cells. We can fill in the 2. This row is 2, 5, 6. Not got much going on there, especially if that turns out to be a 6, which seems likely. 5, 1, 2 here. No, going to have to come back to that. Right, let's keep going. 5, 1, 6, 8, 4, 2. This is a naked single, I think. 8, 3, 7, 1, 4, 2 in the column. 5 and 6 in one of those cells in the box. That is a 9. So now we've got 5, 6 up here, and whichever way round they are, the 5, 1, 2 is fulfilled. This row 2, 5, 6, that column, and that column 1, 2, 8, this one 64, 32. 16 in this one. 6 can't be here because it couldn't get a 1 above it anymore. So 6 must be now down in one of these 2. Can't be there because of the king's move. But whichever one of those it is, 1's going to be above it. So that's not, well, I was going to say that's not all that useful. It's not very useful, but it means with a 6 in one of those and a 6 in one of those, 6 in box 7 must be here in row 7. That makes this a 3 or 7, and in fact it can't be a 7. So we've got a 6, 7 pair there, and a 3 there. So that 6 restriction was actually very helpful, just as I was going to say it wasn't. 4, 6, 7, 2, 8. Now, 1, 3, 5, and 9. Now what are the things again? 1, 2, 8, 2, 5, 6. Oh, this is 3, 7 pair. Yes, and we've got a 7 there. Right, that's simple. But these are still from 5, 6, and 9, and I don't have a way to rule on that. 4, 6, 7, 2, 8. So one of these is a 3. One of these is a 1. But any of them... not any of them can be a 5 and 9, because one of these is a 5 and 9, but I don't know which one. Right, this finishes the column. That would have been a useful bit of scanning. 9 goes in there. One of these 2 is going to be 9. So we've got a 3, 4, 7 triple here. That can't be 4 and this can't be 3 for 2 reasons. 1. 1, sorry, that's very straightforward. If you've seen that ages ago, I apologize, I didn't. So we've got 4, 9, and 3 to put in. That can't be 3. That can't be 4. Not quite everything I need. 64 in this row, and that's been done already. 5 is in one of these cells. Don't know, oops, don't know which one. 2, 3, so that can't be 3 actually. In fact, where does 3 go in the central box? Yes, it's clearly got to be here, just by regular Sudoku. 3, 1, 2, 4. Where does 9 go in column 6? Not here because of that one, not there because of that one. Aha, so that's going to be very helpful now over on the left, because these can't be 5 anymore. Whichever of those is a 5 is seeing both of those by king's move. So they're now a 1-9 pair. So I can fill in 5 and 3. Now I need this bottom row to be 5, 1, 2. Oh, well, it must be. I need this one to be 2, 5, 6. In fact, this is the only place 5 can be, and then it must be followed by the 6. And this seems to work. Excellent. So that's most of the constraint all done. We might 16, yeah, 32, 64, and these rows are all done. Now 16, yes, 32, 64 is done. 1, 2, 8, 2, 5, 6, and 5, 1, 2. Right, we can forget all of the constraints apart from the king's move and just carry on finishing off. 9 cannot be there or there, so it's in one of these two. 3, 2, 1, 6. 6 is there and there. Not that helpful, but it's in one of those. 4 now is restricted to one of those. 6, 5, 2, 1, 3, 9. Oh, I'm probably missing something very obvious on the king's move. 2, just on Sudoku. Yes, 2 is fixed. In fact, that's the last 2 in the grid, so that was very straightforward. 5 and 6, so that's 7 or 8. 5 and 6 are over here. That's 7 or 8 as well. I can't see a king's move restriction. Right, this is a weird naked single. 1, 2, 8, 3, 5 in the column, 6, 4 in the row, but 7 must be in one of those cells. So by the king's move, this is 9. So we get a 5 here, 3 here, 4, yeah, this is finishing everything off, I think. 7 and 6 to go here. Now this looks like a deadly pattern, but I've no doubt it'll be resolved by the king's move. In fact, there it is, 7 in there does that. 6, 7, that makes this 8 and 4. We can go up to an 8, to 5, 6, 7 up here. That one can't be a 5 by the king's move. 3, 4, 5 up here. This one can't be a 4, nor can this actually. So 4 is fixed there. Let's take out the pencil marks. 6, 7, 9. This has to be 9. 6 and 7 are a pair there. And now we must be able to finish off. Right, yes, 3 is looking at that cell, so it's a 5. That fixes the pair in column 9. That's not a 5. That puts 5 into box 2. This is a 7. That's done the whole triple. 6 and 7 there, and the final 6 and 7. And there we go. What a lovely puzzle. So a bit too late to celebrate our 256,000th subscriber. We're powering on at the moment as far as I can see, so which is great news. A lot of people watching our biggest hit video ever at the moment for some reason. Delighted to see that, and welcome to the channel if you're new to us. Do subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you again soon on Cracking the Cryptic. Don't forget the Kickstarter campaign though. Bye for now.